Namaste, greetings to all, and welcome to another episode of One Way of Thinking About It. One Way of Thinking About It is a Q&A platform where we take up questions from individuals around the world. And we take about 10 or so minutes to answer them from our deepest understanding at this present moment. So with the foundation laid, let's get into it. Our question today comes in from Malaysia. Malaysia checking in, Malaysia in the building. Thank you. Thank you. So our question reads, what is happiness? Great question. Powerful question. Powerful question. So let's start at the top. And this is one way of thinking about it. Let's start at the top. Happiness is our inherent nature, one of the qualities of our inherent nature. So our inherent nature, or the inherent nature of something, is what they were birthed with or created with or born with. So let's take the example of a rattlesnake. A rattlesnake's inherent nature is to be a poisonous snake. This is what it is, regardless of what you might do or say or whatever. Its inherent nature is a poisonous, deadly snake. So with us, with a human being, we have inherent natural nature qualities with us that we were birthed into this life with. One of them is happiness. So there's a difference between happiness and being happy. Being happy is a state of being. It is a feeling that comes usually when we contact something from the outside world, an object or being, a person or some kind of object, money, cars, whatever. When we contact these things, then we get this feeling of being happy, this feeling of joy that comes about our being. Happiness is, again, our natural inherent state. It is, if there is nothing going on, there can be nothing going on, nothing happening on the outside world. As a matter of fact, the outside world could be in complete chaos. It could be situations, circumstances, everything could be in a complete mess, but we still be in this state of happiness, this being of happiness, because it's in our inherent nature. But because we get attached and entangled to the things outside of us, it covers up and blocks this inherent nature of ours, happiness. So let's, we need to look at, because if you're unaware, because what I'm speaking of our inherent nature, these qualities of our inherent nature, it could be unknown to people because a lot of us don't know these inherent nature qualities that we have because they have been blocked and covered up, never really becoming aware of them, just because it's been unknown to us. So with this unknown, to understand the unknown, we need to start with a known factor, something known to lead us to that unknown, to be like, okay, I see that now. Because with me saying our inherent nature is happiness, free, I can understand that, I can get behind that. But to really understand something and live by it, we must truly know it. Not just on the surface, but in our being, in our inside of us. Because when we know it through and through, truly for ourselves, we understand it. And when we fully understand something, then we live by it. And this question is so powerful because from the moment that we have been trying to take charge of our life and our happiness, this is what we have been searching for, this happiness. And everything that we do, dang near from the moment we wake up to the moment we lay down, is to be happy, is to have joy, is to have peace and contentment and prosperity in our lives. However, we have been trying to go outside of ourselves to find it. So let's stay with everything that we've been doing from the moment we have taken over control of our lives from our parents, or as a child, even as a child, when we decided that, no, I like this instead of this. I want this instead of this. When we've taken control from existence and says, I know what I want. I know what I like. I know what makes me happy. Once we've taken over this control from the ego came in and said, I know what I like. I know what I want. I know what I desire. Those egocentric desires have come in. Now we've lost that awareness. We lost that consciousness of what our inherent nature is, and that is happiness. So, only thing you have to do is look back. You can look back to yesterday. You can look back to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, wherever you want to take it, and look and say, what was I doing yesterday? What was I doing what I was doing for? Was it to be sad? Did you wake up in the morning and got ready for work, or to do business, or make phone calls, or whatever, for sadness, for unhappiness, for misery or sorrow? No, what you were doing, what you woke up and was planning and started to do, was for happiness, was to be happy, was for joy, was for peace, bliss, for contentment. This is what we are all searching for. And the reason why we are searching for it in everything that we do, because we are unconscious and unaware and separated from our inherent nature. But however, that's why we're going to these known factors of what you're doing, so you can start to understand this inherent nature and the reason why you're doing what you're doing every moment of life. Because your inherent nature, even if you don't know it, it's driving you. It's driving you to get back to that state of being. My teacher here, Swami G, he uses the analogy of a 4-foot spring. 4-foot spring, that's its inherent nature of being 4 foot. But when you compress that spring to a foot, now what's going on with that spring? That spring is under constant pressure to get back to its original nature. Its inherent nature is 4 feet. So it is pressurized with everything to get everything that it's trying to do is to get back to that state. This is the state of humanity. We have this inherent nature about us to be for happiness, contentment, love, bliss, harmony, connection, oneness. This is what pressurizes us on a moment-to-moment basis, day to day, in and out, to get back to this state. And the state we're talking about now is happiness. So, if you just take a moment to look back through your life or your day and say, what am I struggling and striving for? It's happiness. Even the worst of people. Let's take a terrorist. The terrorist is doing what they're doing for happiness. It's not for misery. It might be wanting to bring misery to other people, but it is for their happiness. And vice versa. That's an extreme side of saying somebody wanting to do bad. They might be wanting to do bad or cause misery or sorrow to someone else, but that's to bring them happiness. And this is what's going on with humanity. We are lost and caught up and entangled into all sorts of madness, all sorts of things. I did the terrorist way, but let's say people looking for wealth. Let's say people looking for love. It's the same madness as a terrorist. You searching for love, you searching for wealth, you searching to have a child, all of these things to bring you this happiness that is already you. It can make you happy for a moment, for a certain amount of time. Then you're going to need something more. You're going to need it to do something more, because one desire is insatiable. And that's what it is that we're searching for. We're creating and trying to fill these desires as thinking this is happiness. And once we fulfill a desire, it can give us enjoyment or allow us to be happy for a temporary amount of time. It could be a day for some people, it could be 10 years for some. But however, when this happiness, when this enjoyment, this happy feeling that we have got from contacting something outside of ourselves, that is a conditioned happiness. It's not the pure, unconditioned happiness that is our inherent state. So we can be happy or find enjoyment or joy contacting the objects and beings outside of ourselves. Or we can have a conditioned happiness. But now it's conditioned upon that object or that being outside of us being the way that we want it to be. Now our happiness, our sense of enjoyment is conditioned or predicated upon something outside of us. And this is what causes the sorrow and misery that blocks our true inherent nature of happiness. So this is one way of thinking about it. Thank you for joining me for this episode. If you have any questions or comments or clarifications, please leave them in the comment box below. Until next time, much love, peace, prosperity, health, and blessings to all. Namaste.